Oh man. Oh. What up, everybody? Passion here. I hope you are having a great day. I am having an awesome Monday. You know, it's a little rainy, a little wet outside right now, a little breeze blowing, but I woke up with feeling a little sunshine this morning. Feeling good. And I'm ready to dive into content outside of my art. One of the big things I am passionate about is movies, storylines, characters. I love the whole aspect of bringing a story together. It's probably the aspect of my creativity of just, I love the way something starts with a blank sheet of paper and next thing you know you got these blockbusters of a movies or whatever takes place in the media form. And I am a huge Marvel fan. Spiderman has always been my number one guy from the beginning of all time. Ooh, excuse me. Man, I always start burping when I start talking here. And I did not see what was coming with Marvel. When they started building the MCU, just the idea of we could actually maybe get an Avengers movie was phenomenal, right? And I remember seeing the first teaser picture of the Iron Man suit. I was like, okay, cool. But I know how franchises go. You know, first movie's great. It's the origin story. Second movie's like, third one's a little bit better, but studios get involved or people get involved, and you're like, man, it could have been so much better. And here comes Marvel. They get in with Disney, and they slowly start building this world, taking characters from what they've produced over the last 100 years, right? And people don't realize they've got so much material they could go on for infinity. They start taking these characters, they start watering them down, and Kevin Feige and crew has done a phenomenal job. If you're a Marvel fan, I don't have to explain it to you. But to see what they have pulled off and accomplished is awesome. And to see the build up and everything come up to Infinity War and Endgame, which I don't know if we'll ever see that kind of cinematic accomplishment. And it will be a while before we. The only person that could probably break those kind of records is Marvel themselves, because there's no way you could pull that many actors of that quality into a movie and just pull it off fabulous, right? So I don't know if I'm rambling right there, but so now we get through all this. We have Endgame, which was such a big nerdgasm of an event, and then you had like Far From Home Spider-Man. That was kind of like the cupcake after the big meal, and then COVID hits, right? And we've had nothing since. And I think COVID and everything else is playing into Marvel's hands to their benefit, because it gave us a break. Because after Infinity War and Endgame, we were just like, oh, we're done. Couldn't take no more. But here we are. It's 2021, and they're slowly opening the MCU vault back with WandaVision. And oh my God, I'm so excited what's taking place right now. But I want to start doing content. And what I think I'm going to do is do Marvel Mondays, where I look back at the previous week and kind of go over any Marvel news or things that is happening, things that I'm excited about as a fan. I'll try to stay away from like deep comic book dives, because that can get kind of messy and not everybody's that big of a fan. But I will say this. If you want to truly enjoy a Marvel movie, take a couple minutes and really pay attention to all the details. Don't watch these movies as just pure entertainment. Take a moment and watch the little subtleties of what Marvel has done that you don't even realize we're doing. Let's just take a simple example, right? Very simple example. Captain America Civil War, right? Huge deal in the comic books, but they watered it down just a little bit to fit in the MCU at a certain way, at a certain point of everybody's storylines, and it came off great. One of my favorite movies. The argument of Cap and Tony. These are two guys who respect each other, but they come from two different sides of the fence. But they didn't start fighting in Civil War. If you go back, they started pushing each other's buttons in Avengers. They started pushing each other around in Age of Ultron. And what I love what Marvel's doing is because they're not settling on a 3-movie franchise. They are taking each movie for what it is, but in it is sprinkled all these details. Cap and Iron Man kind of going back and forth. So by the time you get to Civil War, you understand that these two are not always on the same page. You're not having a like, oh, well, this happened, so now I'm mad at you. No, you know that these characters are going a certain way because you spent time with them. Kevin Feige has always presented the MCU as people dealing with normal problems, having cause and effect. They just have special abilities. And if you look at all these movies and what they are actually fighting over, man, it is some phenomenal stuff. You know, I'm at the age where I'm over the next bad guy who wants all the money and all the power. No, if you look at some of what they've been doing, the villains or some of the scenarios between the heroes, they're understandable. So just this whole ball of wax. And now it's 2021, ready to get back into the MCU. The jump off with WandaVision is phenomenal. And I'm going to get into that here in a second. But Marvel Mondays, look back at the week, check out a couple things. And last week, all the nerd blogs started going on fire because there's a potential new family coming to the MCU. And I don't think everybody is really aware of this because I completely forgot about it. But the Big Hero 6 is part of the Marvel family. And there is rumors that they might show up soon in Marvel. Now, what you don't realize is the Disney Marvel animated movie we got was a branch off of a comic from their past that they had a little run with. They got X-Men ties because some of the characters that were involved, it wasn't like these big characters that blew up, but it was this little run for a little while. And Disney took it and said, okay, let me do something that's a little bit more family friendly, and let's just take these characters and kind of work them out a little bit. And then that's the movie we got. And the more I thought about this, and the more I started deep diving of like, man, could this actually work? They've already teased something and you didn't even know it. If you go into Age of Ultron, towards the end of the movie, they uploaded Jarvis into Vision. All right, so that AI is gone. Tony is getting ready to suit up for the big battle at the end. And he goes through his AI programs to find the next program, and he grabs Friday. Puts in Friday, that's a new AI in his suit. But if you're looking at the table that he grabs this from, Tadashi is already on there. Did I say that right? I'm not sure if I did. If I screwed it up, oh well. But his name's already on there, and that is Hero's brother. Now, Tadashi was not in the comic books. He was a character that Disney put into the animated movie to have this unique relationship with Hero. So they kind of did it as an Easter egg, but now I'm thinking, uh-oh, Iron Man's got some kind of AI. Baymax is kind of AI driven. There's a connection there. And I'm very curious of where they're going to show up and how they're going to show up. I hope they do this. Some people may not realize if you go back into the Big Hero 6 movie, Stan Lee is Fred's father. He's in a picture in the big house, but he also shows up in the after credits talking to Fred. And I don't know if anyone's really remembered that or if they stayed then, but Stan Lee showed up. So that kind of tells you that Big Hero 6 is legit. Now, I'm hoping, I like what they did with the animated movie, and I think they should stick with kind of that crew because they're different than the comic books. Very similar, but very different. But I like the polishing they did with the animated movie. So that is something kind of cool to look at, to look forward to. All right, so towards the end of the week, they finally announced the third title for the third Spider-Man with Tom Holland, Spider-Man No Way Home. I love what they did here. Tom Holland and some of the cast and crew were teasing on social media about the new name, and finally they let out like Thursday, I think it was, like Thursday, Friday or something, Spider-Man No Way Home. Today, Spider-Man 3 release date. What is the actual release date? Let's see here. Bum 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 bum. Oh no, not that Spider-Man 3. Okay, so right now, originally it was scheduled for July of this year. It got pushed back to November. Now it's pushed back to December of this year. So we're gonna get Spider-Man 3 right before Christmas. Holidays are always a big pull for the theaters. Hopefully we can see this in the theaters, and that's something huge to be looking forward to. And rumor has it that Doctor Strange is going to play a little part in Spider-Man 3. I think he might be the new mentor of Peter, and depending on what happens on WandaVision, not sure what Spider-Man 3 is actually about yet, and I think they're about to do some very, very cool stuff. So that brings us to WandaVision. I love this series they've done on Disney Plus. They couldn't have done a better job, again, branching us back into the MCU, launching it. This past episode that just happened, good Lord. If you want, you don't even have to be a superhero fan, but if you go back and watch this one episode, you don't even have to understand the characters or anything. You go back and watch this episode, and their breakdown of grief is phenomenal. The way they went back through Wanda's life, kind of rehash a couple things that we already knew, tidbits that was from previous movies. Again, the way Marvel webs their storylines all together. And then they come down to that point on the bed of Wanda has gone through so much of losing her parents, losing her brother, losing Vision twice at Infinity War, and killing the people in Civil War, where she had grabbed Crossbone's bomb, threw it up in the sky, and it caught half that building. She has had so much grief in her life. And they go back, Wanda and Agnes, however you want to, depending on, I guess we're calling her Agatha now, officially. Their conversation that Wanda and Vision had on the bed was phenomenal. The whole description of grief, the way they were talking about it, and the way the line was delivered by Vision. What is grief without love trying to persevere? Oh my good. Isn't it love persevering? Phenomenal writing right there. That whole series, that whole line right there banked the whole series. Regardless of what you may think about it or not think about it, I love that. And I'm very curious of what's about to take place. Wanda is known in the comics as one of the strongest Avengers of all times. And there is a moment where she loses her marbles. It's called House of M. And there's a lot of similar details that's happening in WandaVision right now. And when you go back and read on what took place, it seems like Marvel's taken this one little paragraph in the story of Wanda and House of M, and they've made this whole Disney Plus series with it. And spoilers, okay? If you haven't get caught up, don't watch this video. Oh my God, I don't know why I didn't say that earlier. So, spoilers, watch WandaVision, come back and talk to me if it ain't too late. But next week's finale is going to be phenomenal. Because I think, if I had to take a guess, she is about to go toe-to-toe with the White Vision. And I do not know how they're going to play Agnes with her children. And I think there's going to be so much that takes place. It's going to push Wanda over their edge. If you remember, the grief that she had sitting there in the middle of that lot that Vision bought her, and she had all that grief and she just screamed out. We've all been in that position, right? Where the world just sits there and hammers you and hammers you and hammers you, and you just let it all out, right? When she let it all out, she changed reality. And I think all hell's about to break loose, and she's about to have another fit. And when she does, it's going to change everything. I think they're going to use this as a springboard for X-Men. Because if you notice, when they were talking about her under the bed with the Stark bomb, Agnes kind of hinted, did you use a spell on that bomb so it wouldn't go off? They've never really talked about that. They've hinted about that story in Age of Ultron. But it gives you the concept that Wanda had a little bit of power before she came in contact with the Infinity Stone. So if that's the case, the comic books would say she would have an X gene in her, which is the gene of mutants and / X-Men. And here we are. The Infinity Stone unlocked a whole nother level to her. So, if Wanda goes chaos on a whole nother level, imagine if she ripped a tear in reality and she unlocks everybody's mutant gene. And now we got the X-Men. And what I think is being hinted right now is Hayward from S.W.O.R.D. He keeps talking about weapons and Sentinel program. I think this White Vision is just the start of him building Sentinels, who are the purple robots of the X-Men who hunted down mutants. And I think we're seeing tidbits of everything that's being birthed right now. But what a great series. Oh my God. I don't want it to end. I'm ready for Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I do not want this to end right now. And I'm just excited. I was talking to someone the other day. I'm just glad I'm alive at this time where I get to see the birth of all this and to see what Marvel's doing. And as the kid inside of me, see Spider-Man swing between the buildings was awesome. Now, then you got Iron Man, then you got Cap, and then all of a sudden, man, we're getting the Avengers, and then there's Thor, and then, hey, they might do a Thanos movie. Really? Not only did they did it, they smashed it. So, I don't know. I'm very excited. Big Hero 6 might be coming to the MCU. Spider-Man Far From Home is coming soon. Black Widow should be coming soon to the theaters around May or June. I know they keep pushing it back, trying to get a theatrical release. I can't wait to see that. But man, this is a great time to be a Marvel fan. And I can't wait because we got like 3 days and 11 hours or something till midnight Thursday for WandaVision. And I can't wait to see what hell is about to break loose. So if you're a Marvel fan, let's hang out, let's talk. Shoot me a couple comments or questions that you might have for the MCU. Let's sit here and talk about it. And my goal is to do maybe a video every Monday. Marvel Mondays. Talk about the stuff. Talk about what makes us happy. The little kid in us who loves this world of imagination, storytelling. And let's have some fun. So until next time, be cool, be safe, tie your shoes, and always live your passion. Peace.